Hello parents and mathematicians. This video will focus on how we annotate and solve word problems in math. Students get a lot of word problems in math, and something we might not think about as being very important is the ability to read very carefully and understand what is going on in the problem so that you can understand what it is that's happening in the problem and what it is that you need to be able to do within the context of the problem. So welcome to Math Word Problems Explained. This presentation is brought to you by Shona Jones Lewis. It is my hope that you will find tools and strategies that you can use to support you at home and incorporate into your toolbox. Cobb County School District employs 2 special education parent mentors who are parents of students with disabilities. They serve as a resource for fellow parents who are navigating special education. Stacy and Antoinette provide monthly programming like this workshop to Cobb's parents and are available to speak with you about concerns you may have. Materials needed for some of the supports recommended are dry erase markers, writing or copy paper, a dry erase board, and a plastic sleeve. The problem-solving process. Your children are familiar with closed reading in their reading, literature, or English class. The same applies here in math class, but we are going to apply the strategy in a way that makes sense for the task at hand. Before we can solve problems, we have to understand what is going on clearly. The math annotation strategies in this presentation are meant so that you can support your child at home. So let's get into the actual things we are looking for as we are reading. Closed strategy reading number 1. Closed reading is thoughtful, critical analysis of a text that focuses on details or patterns in order to develop a precise understanding. In the next few slides, we are going to dig deeper into the closed reading strategy without using sticky notes. So step number 1. Read the problem for general understanding. Use a problem with a readability level that is comfortable for your child. You may want to select the problem that is an easier one for your child to solve for the first attempt. Read the problem aloud and ask your child to read the problem again carefully. They should not solve it or make any marks on the problem. Right now, we are just reading the problem for a general understanding. Step 2 in the closed reading strategy is to read for details. In this step, we are reading the problem a second time and identifying information in the problem that would be useful to solving the problem. Here you will want the student or your child to have them mark the information with a mathematical symbol. So they may be marking the information with addition symbols, subtraction symbols, multiplication symbols. And then identify the parts of the problem that do not make sense or that they don't understand. If there is anything within the reading for details portion that the student does not understand, discuss it. Step number 3, read to represent. So basically in step 3, we are drawing a picture of the problem. We are going to use the information from steps 1 and 2 to draw a picture to represent the problem. If needed, provide manipulatives for students to use and then draw a picture of those materials. So some common household materials we've seen have been beans, buttons, cereal pieces, bingo markers or chips, pom-pom balls, and even edibles like goldfish or M&Ms. Step number 4, solve the problem and check your work. In addition to the closed reading strategy, check to make sure that they have paid attention to details such as units, vocabulary, correct numbers, and symbols to show how to solve the problem. Make sure the solution has the correct operation. Make sure that the solution has an answer and provide all information asked for in the problem. So you may want to go back and reread to make sure that you've answered all of the questions posed in the word problem. Strategy number 2 is the cube strategy. The cube strategy gives a mnemonic device for the student to help in word problem solving. C. Circle the key numbers. The U stands for underline the question. B. Box any math action words and write the operational sign. E. Eliminate or get rid of unnecessary information. Evaluate and draw. S. Solve and check. Show your work. Does my answer make sense? How can I double check? And using this strategy, you may see many students write the word cubes in a corner of their papers as a reminder. Here is an example of cube strategy used on a word problem. Jill picked 14 sunflowers. Sam picked 17 roses. How many flowers did Jill and Sam pick together? So the first thing the student did was circle the key numbers. So the key numbers circled are 14 and 17. Underline the question, U. How many flowers did Jill and Sam pick all together? B. Box any math action words. So our math action words were picked and all together. Here the student must ask themselves, what does the question really want to know when boxing the keywords? E. Evaluate. What steps should I take? What is this problem truly asking us? At the end of the presentation, you will have examples of math keywords. Here is where we've seen students have the most difficulty determining what to box and what to underline. So we've given you a guide to help at home. This strategy is the paraphrasing strategy. In this strategy, the first step is to read the problem. Then underline or highlight key terms, restate the problem in your own words, and then lastly, write a numerical sentence. Step 1, read the problem. The middle school has 570 lockers available for the beginning of the school year. They have 839 students starting school. How many lockers will they be short on the first day of school? Step 2, underline or highlight key terms. The high school has 570 lockers available for the beginning of the school year. They have 839 students starting school. How many lockers will they be short on the first day of school? So we're highlighting 570 lockers available, 839 students starting school. And we want to know how many lockers will they be short on the first day of school. So short are not enough. Step 3 and 4, restate the problem in your own words, then write a numerical sentence. So in step number 3, if there are 839 students and only 570 lockers, I need to know how much more 839 is than 570. Therefore, I know that step 4 is 839 minus 570 equaling 269 lockers are still needed. Now that you have a few strategies to use at home, you can decide which one works best for your child. The next few slides are additional supports that may help you at home. When solving word problems, one tool you can use is to turn notebook paper horizontally or use graph paper to aid in aligning numbers. This helps with students who have a difficult time lining up numbers in the correct order or with handwriting concerns. Here is an example of the notebook paper turned and also an example of graph paper used to line up numbers. The language of mathematics was designed so we could write about things such as numbers, sets, functions, what we do with those things such as add, subtract, multiply, divide, etc. This resource will be attached to this presentation for your support.
Thank you for viewing this presentation. Should you have questions, please contact your child's case manager, the Support and Services Administrator, or SSA, at your child's school, or the Special Education Parent Mentors, Stacy Green and Antoinette Nichols.